You don't have to sign your life away. It's
no. Well, if it's for Madonna and or a Minogue, I probably will. So
yeah. Liberty betrothed her firstborn to Madonna. Right. So
yes, I did. 4 Minutes came out right when he was being born, so it was like I was
no way.
He wouldn't release 4 Minutes until he was out in the world. So I whipped that sucker right out.
You got to give it up. You got to give it up.
Yes.
Did you push him out in 4 minutes?
Well, we've scheduled a C-section for that.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay, that's another podcast, Liberty.
Yeah,
that's like some medical gyno podcast.
Yeah.
Madonna forever. Madonna forever. Madonna forever.
You're listening to MLVC, the Madonna podcast, your place for all things Madonna, Louise, Veronica Ciccone. Hey, everybody, it's Liberty.
And hey, everybody, it's Stefan, your unofficial Celebration Tour correspondent. If you're listening to the show, then you already know that Madonna invited Kylie Minogue up on stage at her show in LA this past Thursday night. And since there was finally the melding of two pop culture goddesses, I thought it would only be appropriate to meld together two shows that celebrate those beloved women. So today on the show, we have a very special crossover event for you. We are bringing in someone from the future. She is co-host of This Is Disco, a podcast dedicated to celebrating Kylie Minogue and her sister Danni Minogue. Everybody welcome Eliza Day to the show. Hello, Eliza.
Welcome.
I feel like I should say g'day just to really ramp up the Aussie.
Yes. I was going to say, please play up as much local colloquialisms as possible.
No, I'm not going to do that.
I will mention to everybody, Eliza is cameras down because she chooses to be anonymous on the internet, and kudos to her. I applaud that. So we get to stare at that gorgeous photo of Kylie and Madonna hugging backstage.
I was going to say that's because we don't have internet properly down in Australia because we're so backward. Just really play up that. I've seen all these TikToks recently about how Australians' favourite pastime is to just make up stuff to Americans about riding kangaroos and just stuff that actually doesn't happen. So I felt like I could have run with that.
That's hysterical. Yeah, you could be like, the koalas aren't in their little turning wheel, so your internet isn't working as fast or something.
Yeah, there's no internet on Sundays here because it's already Sunday, so the internet's off.
Yeah, it's the koala day of rest, so they,
Yes.
unfortunately.
I mean, I'm sure you could find many folks here in this side of the hemisphere who would, or what do you call that, this side of the equator, who will believe anything you tell them, so.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Why not?
Where are you podcasting in Australia from?
Minogue HQ, Melbourne.
Nice. I have an old boss who lives in Sydney, and I've never yet visited Australia, but it's on my list. I want to.
Okay, well, we'll give you the full Minogue landmark tour when you come to Melbourne. Different, music video points and things like that.
Yeah, I want to do the. Oh no, I think that was in London where Kylie did the "Come Into My World" video where she's walking around in the circle. Right? Was that was in London?
Oh no, that's in Paris.
Oh, in Paris.
I can literally get you the street coordinates if you need.
I've always wanted to do that circle just for fun.
Yeah.
Where in Paris is that?
I can't remember the.
I'm gonna because a good friend of mine lives in Paris, and I was just there. So I'll next time I go, I'll have to. Yeah.
I think it's changed a bit. The buildings that were there are now apartments or whatever, or offices. But I mean, you can make do.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Find your way.
Yeah.
Well, Eliza, tell us about your show. This Is Disco. How did that come to be? Obviously, you're dedicating it to Kylie and Danni.
Yes.
What was the impetus for starting that?
So, both Adam and I have been, lifelong Minogue fans, and Adam already had a radio show. He's been doing radio for about 20 years, and he was doing radio before he moved into podcasting, And every now and then I would be a guest on his radio show, and sometimes we'd do like a Kylie special or, just other random episodes. And we did a few of those. And then, when was it? It was end of 2020. So, peak lockdown, you didn't come out of lockdown or the pandemic without a podcast. So I think we'd done another disco episode because it was around the Kylie disco release. And he just messaged me.
You mean this?
Oh, you're wearing an Infinite Disco t-shirt.
Infinite Disco. Let me tell you. Infinite Disco by Kylie Minogue. That's special. I was gobsmacked by that special.
It was incredible.
Amazing.
That's what everyone should have been doing in lockdown. She really took lockdown and went, you know what, I can make the best out of this.
Yeah.
I remember
I was watching that special at home. I may or may not have had a gummy. And I was watching it, and I was like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It was, the visuals were so good. And I was so jealous that Kylie did that, because I was like, Madonna, we need something like this from Madonna, because it was just so good. It was just so good.
So good. So simple, yet so sort of mind-blowing at the same time.
Yeah. It was perfect. Anyway, sorry, go ahead. So
after that, Adam just messaged me one day and he's like, should we do like a Kylie and Danni podcast? And I was like, you don't have to tell me twice. Like, yes. And then we started that at the start of 2021.
And you do you're monthly with your podcast, yes?
We are monthly. Sometimes we might, if there's a lot going on, we might do, fortnightly. So last year was the 20th anniversary of Danni's Neon Nights. So we had a lot of guests, people who were involved in that album. And so we had a lot of interviews and sort of, piped out a few more episodes.
Yeah.
It really depends. Or we weren't going to come back till sort of about now, but then both Kylie and Danni started dropping new music and Kylie started winning Grammys. So it's like emergency episode, which I'm sure you guys understand. They do something and it's like, well, time to get on the air.
Yep. Yeah. I kind of feel like after the celebration tour comes to an end, we might start going to your cadence, because just slow it down a little bit for the summer and enjoy some real life.
Well, that's what we did. We always take summer off because summer obviously is around our Christmas as well, so it kind of ties up nicely where it's like, let's do a Christmas episode or something, take January off and come back when we're ready.
Well, and you've actually had Minogue on your show.
We have been blessed to have Danni on, oh my goodness, like about 3 times.
That's amazing.
Wow.
How did that happen?
We did a birthday episode for her in 2021 because it was her 50th. So we had a bunch of people that are very close friends with her or have worked with her or are both, because she works with her best friends and fans. We just put this episode together celebrating her, and she heard it and loved it, and then someone else connected us with her manager, and then she came on and we had bubbles with her to celebrate her birthday. It was middle of our lockdown as well. So and we just all hit it off. It was amazing. She's so, I cannot speak highly enough of her. Just so good to her fans, always has been, has all the time in the world for anyone and everyone. It's really great.
That's awesome. I mean, when is Kylie coming on the show?
That's a great question. I am manifesting that like you wouldn't believe. Maybe she could bring her new best friend Madonna on, and then we can do a real crossover, epic.
That would be amazing. I know. People are always like, when are you getting Madonna on the show? I'm like, she's kind of busy.
You're like, it's Madonna.
Yeah. It's like, how long did it take for her and Kylie to get on stage? It's like, I doubt we were going to have that. She's going to come on the podcast tomorrow. I mean, I wish, but
but we just think positively, and
that's right.
Hope for one day for that to happen, for the all of that to bless our podcast with her presence. But when they're busy, when they're working, they're providing us with fodder for the podcast, for our pleasure. So there's really no loss, even if she doesn't get to come on.
Exactly. We'll put it on the vision board nonetheless.
That's right.
Manifest that for you.
Well, so
In the
a little.
meantime, just a running list of questions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I always jot down questions. I'm always like, well, I should remember to ask Madonna that whenever she's on the show.
Yes.
Do you do that? Do you have questions like already in mind of what you would ask Kylie?
Oh, I've had them for nearly 40 years.
Oh,
So
goodness.
I've just been building
I was
on
going to
them.
say, I wanted to dig a little bit into your Minogue fandom a little bit because normally we talk so much about Madonna on the show, but because of the infamous pairing that we have and the auspicious moment of you host a
Yes.
Minogue podcast, we host a Madonna podcast. Talk to me a little bit about your Kylie fandom. When did you become a Kylie fan? How did you become a Kylie fan?
Well, I mean, grab a seat, everyone, because I'm about to give you all a history lesson you didn't ask for. So, as in, I'm taking you back to 1982. So, there's a lot of us of a certain age in Australia specifically who discovered Kylie via Danni. Because Danni, in 1982, around the same time that someone else was getting their career up and running,
Yes.
she started on a show called Young Talent Time, which was basically Australia's answer to the Mickey Mouse Club. So, it was a weekly show where they all sang pop songs, mostly current, but a lot of sort of older stuff as well. And she was on that show until 1988. That we didn't know who Kylie Minogue was at this point. We knew Danielle, as she was known. And so she was she was the team member who sang Madonna songs every week.
Oh, how cute.
Like every week. Like I'm talking Jimmy Jimmy was sung on that show.
Oh, wow. That's
Oh yeah, like
deep
it's
cut.
real deep.
Yeah.
She sang "Where's the Party?" I'm going to say at least 5 times over the course of 6 years, at least. Like every Madonna song was hers. So I cannot tell you what a full circle moment this has been when so many of us grew up watching Danni sing Madonna to the point where, the Young Talent Time, whatever machine put out this record in 1985, and by record I mean a literal vinyl, that each team member sang their own song. So my first ever Minogue record included Danni Minogue singing Material Girl
Oh, cute.
in 1985, long before Kylie Minogue had even heard of the locomotion. Like, this is how far back this all goes. So, and then of course, you flash forward to 2003 when Madonna gives Danni Minogue, the go-ahead to use Into the Groove.
Oh my God, that's
with her song.
Honestly, that remix is brilliant. Like,
Isn't it?
It was such a smart mashup. When I heard that, I was like, what's going on? This is Madonna's Into the Groove. Who is this person singing? And that's sort of how I learned of who Danni Minogue was.
Yeah, that was, and this was pre-hung up before Madonna's getting permission from ABBA. Like, this is, way. Anyway, not to be like plugging this as disco, but we did talk to one of the guys from Nemo who did that mashup, and he explained how they did that because, they're huge Madonna fans as well. Anyway, you can find that on This Is Disco on all your favourite podcasting apps. So, yeah, anyway, so we had Danni singing Madonna songs like all the time. And, then Madonna's giving her permission for Danni to use her stuff. So there's already this just connected sort of thing with Minogues and Madonna in Australia from literally the start of Madonna's career and the start of sort of all of us knowing who Minogues are. So then around 1985, that we had these after school programs, like there was one called the Zoo Family, and then there was one called the Henderson Kids, which Kylie featured on. And then also on Young Talent Time, they'd often have the family members of the team members, so parents and siblings and stuff. And it was like, wait, there's another Minogue? There's another female Minogue? They also have a brother, but he was not, on TV or anything. And so that's where a lot of us were like, oh my God, well, we're a fan of her as well.
Uh-huh.
And then she ended up on Neighbours and
Right.
Locomotion, etc., etc.
I mean, that's how I learned who Kylie Minogue was. When I used to roller skate every weekend. That's what we did in Philadelphia, and they always played Locomotion. Always. I mean, it was like I remember that was like a staple roller skating song that we would skate around to, and so that's how I always knew who Kylie Minogue was. And then I think the next time she popped up on my radar was when I was finally out in the gay bars, and there was the DJ there must have been a Light Years fan, because he was constantly playing Spinning Around, and I was obsessed with that song and that video. And who wouldn't be? Like Kylie in those little hot pants which barely covered her body, and dancing on the disco floor. And that song was so brilliant. So
good. You had gold hot pants, didn't you?
No, my hips would not fit in hot pants. They would not look good in hot pants. Nobody wants to see that.
Did you have gold hot pants, Liberty?
Can't say I did as an adult. As a young girl in the 80s, absolutely. I had a pair of like lame, this sort of it was just this fabric that eventually where that gold would sort of rub off.
Peel off. Yeah.
You know what? I loved them.
Liberty, you just reminded me. I actually do have a pair of gold lame hot pants, and the only
I knew you would.
The only reason I do is because I did an 80s gym instructor one year for Halloween, and there was this. Does anybody remember that crap store, American Apparel? I mean, literally, it was like. Every Halloween, that's where you would go to get like your trashy Halloween costume last minute. Like there were the gays who would like plan for months in advance for Halloween. I was always a last minute, like, oh my God, it's Halloween in 5 hours. I have to get something for a party. Let me go to American Apparel. And I would just like put together 80s fitness instructor. And I got gold. I still have those gold lame.
I knew you would have them somewhere.
I don't wear them regularly.
Oh, please. You'll put them on after we're done here, won't you?
Just on Tuesdays. Just on Saturday evenings around the house,
I wear them on Minogue Mondays. And,
well, I should hope so.
Minogue Mondays, and I spin around in my living room and...
Put your roller skates on.
Exactly. I mean, that's...
Well, those hot pants are in a museum in Melbourne, like locked away. You cannot touch them without white gloves.
Oh, wow. That doesn't surprise me.
Oh yeah, that's what we revere in this country.
Yes,
and rightly so.
Yeah.
I would say
that's every year you make your pilgrimage to go pay homage to those shorts, and
basically,
yeah, it's okay. We get it. We do it. Like when I'm in New York, I always make sure I swing by Madonna's house just to, hello, Madonna.
Just wave,
take a selfie. It's all good.
And then the police come and say, excuse me, sir, a reminder
Stephen,
that you have a
restraining order. Exactly.
Yes.
Liberty, did you ever go to Madonna's house in New York?
I did.
Oh, you did?
I
Okay,
stopped out front for a bit and
had lunch.
No, I just hung out in a tree across the way here. No, I just for a little bit, and it was interesting because there was some movement, but I was like, I better not stay too long, because if there were some folks in her garage, which sort of
there's always every time I walk by her house, always all the time. It makes it sound like I'm there on a weekly basis.
4 hours.
Yeah. I just circle around the block. I just circle around the block.
Every time I circle by, there's somebody there. Yeah. But none of whom I recognize, so I just was like, okay, I just wanted to see it, selfie, and then kind of go on. I had my family in tow, and I'm sure they were like,
oh, that's right, you did. I remember that. Yeah. Eliza, how many times have you seen Kylie in concert?
Oh my God. I counted this a few years ago, but I can't remember.
Have you been to every Kylie concert that because she's done tons in Australia.
Yeah, I have been to every tour since like 19, whatever the first one was, 90 or was it 89? I think it was 89. Anyway, the only one I missed was the Fever tour, but it's because I was traveling and ended up in New York around Christmas when she was doing that. It was 2002, that show at the Garden. It was like a whole bunch of people. Britney was hosting it. It's escaped me. And there was a bunch of, like, Gloria Gaynor was on it. it was one of those radio shows, you know, those radio Christmas shows and
Yes,
stuff.
yes. Like
So I did
Z100, like Z100
Yes.
or something. Like
Yeah,
putting
I think
together,
so.
like, they're like Christmas ball, or I forget what they call
Yeah, it
it.
was like Miracle on 34th Street or something like that it was called. So
Mm-hmm.
I saw her there. So, you know, that was an experience to see Kylie in America as well. But
Yeah, I saw
unfortunately.
Kylie when she came to New York. She came to New York for, oh God, what? Well, I did see her for Aphrodite, but there was something she did before Aphrodite, and I don't remember.
For You, For Me, I think it was called. For You, For Me tour.
Yeah, I think so. And it was like she had mashed up like two of her concerts that she like
Yes.
had done overseas, and that was fantastic to be able to see her.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time I'd ever seen her, and I just was like, I remember thinking they should have vaulted the stage because Kylie's so tiny that like only when they finally lifted her up in the air did I realize she was wearing a dress. You know, because I was like, you could
Right.
only see from like her shoulders up because everyone
Yeah,
was
yeah.
standing, and I'm like, oh, she's wearing a gown. That's pretty. You know.
Are either of you going to Vegas, or have you been to Vegas to see her show?
Alas, no. Kylie's Vegas show was a little pricey for me because of like
Yes.
you had to buy, like, I didn't want to stand in the back. I was like, I'm not going to fly all the way to Vegas and then standing in the back of the venue. And the tables were like super pricey. There was like a bottle service or food minimum of like $1,000. And
Yeah, something like that.
unfortunately, Eliza, because Minogue went on to Vegas at the same time Madonna was going on Celebration, the pop goddess wars was like, sorry, Kylie, but Madonna's winning out on this one.
That's understandable. When are you both going to Madonna again? Were you saying, Liberty, you're not going again? Or you are?
Well, I have right now, for sure, my forecast Austin, which is the last of her United States dates. Then I do have tickets to Houston, but I'm not yet sure I'll go just because of work conflicts. And
But isn't Beyonce going to be at that show? Look at me starting rumors.
That's the word. That's like this rumor that sort of has floated around since I think the beginning of the tour, like the original dates, because at that time Beyonce was on her tour and they were going to be in the same place right around the same time. And so the idea was, then probably because of Beyonce's Break My Soul, that probably there would be some sort of opportunity for them to connect, which I'm hopeful that would be really great if she's able to, if I'm lucky enough to get to Houston and I'm lucky enough to see those two shows, that if she shows up to one of them, then I'll be doubly blessed.
Yes.
But,
Truly.
Yeah, no more Celebration tour for me at the moment. I keep saying at the moment, but I'm like, I just don't know. It's a cost thing. I would love to do like a proper summer vacation and to spend the money on Celebration. I mean, I've seen the show 5 times already, so it's like
5.
you know. I mean, I would love to go again, but unfortunately, that elusive sugar daddy I keep searching for has not made himself known to me. So I don't have some of the bank. Not yet. Exactly. I like the way you think, Eliza. I need to manifest a sugar daddy within the next couple of weeks. You know, it's like TikTok sugar daddy.
right.
Could you manifest Madonna coming to Australia whilst you're at that? Because we're so
Always.
thirsty for it. Yeah.
You're starving for. Have you ever seen Madonna in concert?
I have. I went the 2 times that she's been here. So I went in 1993. I was not going to miss that. So I saw that show, and then that was the girly
show,
tour, wasn't
yes.
it? Yeah. And then I went to Rebel Heart.
That's
No,
amazing.
and you didn't get to see Tears of a Clown, correct?
No, I tried to get tickets for that, but I mean,
Yeah,
that
was a smaller show.
difficult.
You know, like it's
Yeah.
it's an uneven playing field when she does those kind of special events. Like unless if they're not letting fans camp out overnight, it's who you know at that point.
Yeah, and I think you kind of had to really prove that you were a fan. I can't remember. There was a lot of stuff that you could do online or
I don't
something.
remember
'Cause
now
the tickets were free from memory.
Yeah, I remember that
So-
too. but I am trying to remember what there. I want to say there was an icon contest, a fan club contest. I want to say,
Yeah.
but there were.
So this
other...
is where Adam would be helpful because Adam did go to that. So
Oh, nice. Yeah, where
he
is
would be the
Adam
person.
tonight? Where's he traipsing around?
it's
Is he in just
a long
Minogue
weekend.
heaven? He was like
Yes.
he's in a Minogue-induced coma from.
He's at the hospital. No, he is away this weekend. It's a long weekend in Melbourne. I think it's in most of Australia, but yes, it's a long weekend here. It is literally 100 degrees for these 3 days. So we are all melting. It is quite disgusting. So another good reason for my camera to be off because I'm sweating.
You've got you're basically podcasting from directly in front of the air conditioner.
Yes, pretty much. So, yes. But, I mean, yeah, it's always 100 degrees year-round in Australia, and we're just always at the beach. That's just how it works.
It doesn't sound too shabby to me. You know?
That's just another lie. That's another
Until
lie.
you live it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
was
know
just-
what the humidity is like in Melbourne, but in where I live, it is painful.
Oh,
It's so
no,
hot.
our humidity, we don't have humidity. I think Sydney has the humidity, whereas Melbourne is quite dry.
Oh, okay. Well, that's.
And I only notice that because when I go to Sydney, I'm like, what's going on with my hair? And I'm like, humidity.
Yeah.
So-
I can't stand humidity. That's what I like. The one time I'd visited Palm Springs, and it was like 110 in Palm Springs when we arrived, and I was like, wow, it's really hot here. But yet it felt different because it was just
Right.
dry heat, you know. And I was like, okay, in the shade, it's kind of all right. It's not so bad.
Yeah.
Well, so as we all know, Madonna, as we can tell from everyone's backgrounds,
Yes.
Madonna and Kylie finally got together. What did you think of this joyous union, Eliza?
Oh my God. It was, I mean, we've all been dreaming of this for so long, like literal decades, not just like
Yeah.
since this tour started, literally since the 80s. We've all been like, oh my God, do you think one day? And then, you know, we had that song that Madonna gave to Kylie, whatever that was, 20 years ago, that ended up on one of Kylie's documentaries, that Alone Again.
Did she?
Oh,
I was
sorry.
gonna say you can come at me because I'm sure someone in the comments would be like, Stefan, you didn't know about this?
No. I was about to say, let me share. No, I wasn't about to come at you. So there's this Kylie track called Alone Again. It's from like the Fever era that I believe, and someone will correct me if I get this wrong, I'm sure, that Madonna wrote with Rick Knowles in the like Ray of Light sessions. Didn't end up. And then so she gave it to Kylie. Wasn't used in the Fever era. And then it was eventually used in the 2007 White Diamond documentary that Kylie did. It was her sort of documentary with her Showgirl Homecoming tour. So right after she had gone through cancer, had, you know, survived that, and then she did this documentary. So it's really actually, I don't know what the word is, if it's serendipitous,
Yes.
but really nice that a song that, you know, Madonna wrote and gave to Kylie ended up in that documentary, and then they sing I Will Survive together.
Oh, that's
I don't know,
fantastic.
that just feels really nice to me.
I'm going to go listen to that after we get off this, just because you think you know everything about a certain someone and you still learn things today, you know. That's fantastic. I had never known that.
Yes, and there's obviously, I know I heard you talking with your friend Michael in that previous episode about, you know, having Stuart Price should do something with both of them, and they already have that connection because Stuart Price did Kylie's Aphrodite album.
Right.
So
And I loved, honestly, Aphrodite came out. There was a summer that my friends and I had rented a beach house on Fire Island, and that came out like around that summer, and I would go running every morning that we'd be out there to Aphrodite because it was such an upbeat, good album. So every time I hear any song off of Aphrodite, I think of the beach and Fire Island and summer and like just joyous. And I loved Aphrodite. I thought that was such a great album of hers.
Oh, it's so good. So we've had all these moments where they've just been edging us for decades. So when it finally got to like everyone was talking about it for weeks of like, wait, Kylie's in LA for that, Billboard Icon Award. Madonna's in LA. So you kind of knew, and it was sort of 5 or 6 p.m. here for us on International Women's Day. So we were already on that day. So the idea that this could happen on that day was almost too much. And so I kept looking at Twitter and everyone's like, it's coming. I'm like, what time is it in LA? What's happening? And a small part of me was like, I'm too tired for this. I don't have the energy to cope with what's about to happen. So I was almost like, oh God, please no, I can't. And then when she wasn't like the Vogue judge, I just threw my phone across the couch. I was like, oh, well, that's not happening. And then I went and had dinner and then logged back on to, people saying, oh, wait till you log back on.
Right. It was this explosion of, because that's what was happening. Everyone assumed that Kylie was going to be the Vogue ballroom judge. And then when she wasn't, and it was Ali Wong, people were like, what? Don't tell me that Ali Wong and not like Kylie's not going to be on stage. But I think we all had hopes that there was going to be something extra special with Kylie.
Yeah. And I love that. Yeah. I think you're going to say the same thing.
I was just going to say, I'm glad that it was more than just like a visual of the two of them together.
Yeah.
I feel like the gravity of the situation demanded that there was more than just the two of them interacting in the same space. Even though we had always just been wanting a picture, I think after all that time, it was like, no. We need them singing together.
Yes. And I think I love that. I mean, obviously none of us know what Madonna's mindset is, but it just felt like she was like, no, she is more than, just sitting next to me on the stage. She is my equal and she will sing with me as my equal. Like there's always been that mutual admiration and respect, like for decades, despite what people on the internet try and, start up. It's been there for so long.
What do you think about that, Eliza? Because I think that's something that we always see is it just often feels like the media and people are always trying to pit female artists against each other, which I think is unfair and kind of ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous, and it's just a made up thing because you won't see I don't move in the same rock spaces, so I don't know if in those fan bases people are pitting Bono against, God, insert other rock person.
Exactly.
Springsteen or something.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening. And then there's the whole thing of you can't find an article that doesn't open with, Kylie, 55, Madonna, 65. Like, what does that have to do with any? I couldn't tell you the age of any male singer, rock star, whatever. I don't know because it's never mentioned.
Right. It's not like they're opening an article like Mick Jagger, 88, or however old Mick Jagger is. I don't even know,
Yeah. So, but every article, particularly with every achievement that Kylie has had over the past year, it's like, can you believe that this 55-year-old woman, it's like, what's, what does that even mean?
Almost as if she's lost her worth, that women of 55 can't accomplish anything, they're just meant to be dusting in their house or something. And so the fact that a 55-year-old woman is doing anything is a shock to the media. And it's no,
Yeah, well, remember all that stuff that Madonna would get when she was, 30, and it was old bag Madonna or something. It's she's 30.
I know.
So, that's pitting the fan bases against each other or whoever starts. It's just, I have no time for that. It's so ridiculous.
No. And I've thought that just about all of these female artists that somehow get twisted, that whatever their relationship is or isn't to Madonna, that somehow that there's a rivalry going on that may or may not be there. I know a lot of folks have always wanted, I'd love to see a collaboration between Madonna and Kylie. I always thought they're just two separate artists in their own right. How would you marry them? How would you put them in the same song? Because Kylie has such a different, to me, it's different feel as an artist than Madonna does. So I've always had trouble sort of seeing them in the same space. But this sort of helped me have a different view, which I hope maybe that was part of the intention, was not only the international woman, you know, two women from two different countries who are equally as amazing in their careers, that perhaps that there's more to it. Like, hey, you know, you can embrace another female artist. It doesn't only have to be Madonna all the time, which I definitely fell into, you know, that pit, I think, sometimes where I'm like, Madonna, blinders, I see no one else. Even though I liked Kylie, you know, I as a fan, and I had the little cassette of Locomotion, and I remember being, you know, learning all the words and doing my own choreography to it you know, when I was 10, and then in the early 2000s with this sort of new sort of Kylie like fandom in the United States that sort of emerged, was also where I was like, oh, now I think I should be paying attention to that. But it's always been for me harder to, just because I always think, well, I don't know, can I love someone besides Madonna? I don't know, is that possible?
Right.
There's room in your heart for more than one pop star.
There really is. There's always. And seeing Madonna bring her on to sing, that was, because no one would have been happy if she'd just been the Vogue judge. It wouldn't have been enough. And
no,
it was such a gift. This whole tour is such a gift from Madonna to all of us, that I think that's part of the present. That's part of this.
And it was a gift. Like, this was such a gift to just pop culture in general, to Madonna fans, to Kylie fans. Like, it was just, I thought it was perfect. Eliza, I wanted to ask you, because of course, as you heard me say this in the previous live show that I had done, the goalposts have moved now. So now that we now that we have Madonna and Kylie having performed and met in pictures and whatnot, now we want more. So
yeah, we're greedy. We're very greedy.
Correct. Do we think there is the possibility of a collaboration between the two of them in our future? And what would you like that collaboration to be?
Well, I'd had a conversation with a friend before I saw that episode that you did with Michael, is his name, isn't it?
Yes.
And me and my friend had the exact same conversation, agree on all fronts. We were like, well, like, how would that, like, the expectations for an original song would be so high that it does almost make sense for them to cover I Will Survive in a studio version. And then we agreed with you guys as well, like, Stuart Price, you just got to get Stuart Price into it. Like, that whole, I feel like that's where they meet. Like, you've got, you know, Confessions, Aphrodite, like, that's where the Venn diagram of Madonna and Kylie is
or
in the
even
middle.
Disco in general, you know, like,
exactly.
just the disco. But yeah, it's like, that's the world, you know, like, if we can, and because I Will Survive is such a disco song, having them meet, and they've already done it, so it's like, it would just make so much sense. It, you know, like,
it really would.
I would love it.
And Kylie's friends with Gloria.
Yeah.
You know, they did a song
had on the
together.
show.
Yes, we had Gloria Gaynor on the show, which I still think about once a day, because she sang I Will Survive to us.
Yeah.
I very cheekily asked, like, if she gets sick of people asking her to sing it. And then I was like, so, like, you know, if I asked you, before I could even finish my sentence, she just starts singing I Will Survive.
Wow,
and I'm just sitting here in my little room thinking, what is happening? And I just started crying, as you would. So that, I think that also tipped me over the edge, watching then Kylie and Madonna singing I Will Survive. I'm like, this is way too much.
Well, it makes sense too, you know, so it's like, Kylie had Gloria Gaynor on her, what was it? It was the extended disco versions, right?
Yeah, like the repackage.
Right. And so, like, so it's like, to me, there's so many different ways in for why it should be that cover. And I mean, Gloria Gaynor, she put such a stamp on that song where, like, just anybody recording that, I don't think it would be successful. However, you get Madonna and Kylie duetting on I Will Survive.
Yes.
Then I think
it's different.
We've got some magic there. Then it basically transcends the original in a different way. So it's suddenly much bigger than what it was.
Yeah, I think it would just they would just sort of coexist.
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't be like the original is no longer valid, and it wouldn't be like their Kylie and Madonna version is like superior or inferior. It's like they would sort of like, it's basically like an alternate timeline version of each, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, I think them doing a cover of something probably makes most sense. I don't know. I can't believe they even sang together. I can't process the idea that, I don't know. Although, didn't Kylie say in an interview about a week ago that I can't remember where I saw this, that she had just been in the recording studio collaborating with someone that it's been a dream to collaborate with. So in my mind, that's Madonna.
That's all I need.
It could be anyone. It could literally be anyone on the planet, but I've decided it must be Madonna.
When was that? I don't think I heard that.
I'll have to find it. There's been so many articles with Kylie at the moment, just, with, the Brits and the Grammys and everything. Sure. They keep coming through the timeline and you see it and you're like, okay. But then now that she's done this with Madonna and they're both in LA, it's like, wait, where was that article?
Mm-hmm. Well, and also like, I mean, and I keep saying this on the podcast all the time. We know Madonna's been working with people in the studio, and I know that she, like, maybe this was all part of the plan, where it was like, well, look, we can't get Madonna and Kylie together until a certain time. We're going to hold off on putting out the album. Like, because as we all know, like, things, like, obviously, it's a timing issue. Madonna and Kylie being in the same space at the same time. It was a timing issue. It just wasn't able to happen until now. And I think that that's the same thing with the release of music. Like, when is it going to be released? When is it going to happen? When would it be appropriate? So yeah, I think it'd be amazing. Eliza, will we see Kylie go on tour now that, because her Vegas residency is finished, right?
No. I think it goes till the end of May.
Oh, was she still doing more dates?
Yeah. She got
that's right. It got
extended.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Oh, yeah. Well, there's still time for me then.
Exactly. That's why I asked. You still can mortgage something.
Gotta
sell an organ. I don't know.
I was gonna say I've still got 2 kidneys. So
there you go. Where there's a will, there's a way. Yeah. So, well, she did say on, I think it was the Jennifer Hudson show, that something about an American tour. So that I would like, because it cuts down costs, obviously, because then going to see her in a venue in New York is far cheaper than like flying to Vegas and seeing it like at Voltaire and staying at a hotel. And, of course, then you got to get a nice outfit to wear. And then you've got your gold hot pants. So that's taken care of.
Right. That part is taken care of.
Well, then I've got to get my legs waxed and I've got to, got to get a little bronzer. And, it's preparation,
Yes. Well, I guess once you have a tour date, then you could you've got time to plan.
Yes, exactly. Would you ever come see Kylie in America or only Australia?
If I won the lottery, sure. I would absolutely. The furthest I've been, aside from when I saw her in New York, which was only because I was there, the furthest I've been is Sydney, where I specifically went for that. But that was the 90s. I was still living at home.
Yeah.
The ticket was $60.
Imagine.
I was, oh my God, it was so good. It was, I got an overnight train. I didn't care that my back was sore, simpler times.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, when you're younger, you can sleep on a train all night and wake up and go to work in the morning.
Yeah, and I totally did that. It was 3 days of just, I have no idea how I functioned, but I did. I would die if I did that now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no traveling for me for a concert unless my money tree starts really sprouting.
I hear you. Yeah, I'm there with you. What's next for This Is Disco? What's coming down the pipeline?
That's a great question.
You just fly by the seat of your pants on that.
We do. Sometimes we'll have a few plans, like if there's an anniversary coming up or, we've got interviews or other times we'll just message each other and be like, should we do this album next? Yep, let's do that. So we're very loose with how we plan that.
Yeah, and I hate that. The spontaneity makes it fun, right?
Yes. So, and then obviously we'll have to discuss this at length. We'll have to get you to come and chat with us. So
that would be lovely. Yes, that way I can speak to Mr. Vacation himself while he's.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have so many of our listeners are huge Madonna fans. This is why. I mean, I think I live in an echo chamber across socials and everywhere else where everyone loves Kylie and Madonna equally.
Yeah.
And so when I see these little pockets pop up of people who are trying to create drama, I find it quite jarring because I don't usually see it.
Yeah, there's no need, It's like, come on, let's all just love one another,
Yeah.
Yeah, music brings the people together, not like, apart.
Yeah.
Yep.
I hear you.
It's really the one space where it's okay to be together, no matter who you are or where you've come from.
Do you know what I keep fantasizing about now that they've done this? Is if they did like a joint tour together where they were equal.
So somebody said that, and I can't get that out. Can't get that out of my head. Pun intended.
See what you did there.
See what I did there, Eliza? Yeah, I know. I was like that. I could see that would be the one like uniting force. Like how amazing that would be if because I don't think Madonna has never done that, and I don't think Kylie's ever done anything like that either. Right? They've all sort of just like stood on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the only time I've ever seen such a show is when Backstreet Boys and New Kids on the Block toured together. And so this is what I'm imagining. So like each group would come out and do like a couple of songs, and then they'd tag out, and then they'd do like something together. And it was wild. And so if they did that...
Well, and so that's what Michael and I on the previous live episode we were talking. I was like, okay, let's fantasy time. It's fantasy time, and I was like, imagine that it's not just one song, like Madonna and Kylie to like get together for a whole album of songs, and then they could tour that album and like because if you think about it, Madonna she's always been a solo artist, like the closest she came to being like a girl group was when she was with her long-standing backup singers, Nikki and Donna. And so like that was like the closest she ever came to like being a girl group. And I just think it would be fun to sort of have that dynamic be switched up. And like, I mean, that would be one of the hottest tickets. And, like it would be so hard to get a ticket to see that tour. Like it would be insanity. Insanity. It
would be like beyond the stress of trying to get a Taylor Swift ticket. Like...
Yeah.
It's like such next level insanity. I can't. I'm stressed thinking about it.
Right. Just even imagining, and it's not even an official thing.
No. Sorry, I should have said my bottom hurts just thinking about it.
But honestly, you know what? And nothing against because obviously both of them are selling venues out left and right and still bringing crowds. But like it would be such a lighter lift for Madonna, like we always hypothesize on the show, like what does touring for Madonna look like in the future as she's, because she's 65 and touring that's a heavy lift. And, we're all always saying, God, if you see 2 celebration shows back to back, you're spent, you're exhausted. Yeah. How is Madonna doing 2 shows back to back? And I think if she was to split the bill on a tour, with somebody that would be of like equal footing with her, that would be such a great way for her to not have to carry the load so much,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm on board for that. Hey, I'm on board.
Imagine if they did Kylie did her anti-tour in 2012.
Yes.
Where she did all B-sides and rarities. Imagine if they did that together as like a little intimate show, but it was both their B-sides and rarities.
I'm for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it wouldn't even have to be like a spectacle tour. It could
just a little club.
Yeah. I mean, I would love that. Like sort of like what Kylie did when she did what was her country album?
Oh, Golden, yeah.
Yeah, when she did Golden, like she was doing a bunch of like smaller venues.
Yeah.
I'm
she
for
did
it.
one in New York, didn't she?
Yeah. I didn't get to go to that, but yeah.
Yeah, so just the 2 of them doing little, little small club. That would be perfect. That would also be impossible to get tickets for.
Oh, yeah. We're talking about like, oh, I can't wait to see that. We'd never get tickets to it. You know, we'd be like, mother, you know, why aren't they doing stadiums? You know?
Yeah. Oh, God, we can dream.
Yes, we can. Well, Eliza, I know it's your Sunday and you've probably got to go jump in an ice bath somewhere. So you can.
No, not today.
But before you go, there's a little segment we do on the show that we call the lightning round. However, in honor of you being our guest today, we're switching things up. We're going to be doing a little bit of a Kylie lightning round. So these questions are meant to be quick off the top of your head, wherever you're at in your Kylie journey.
Oh, God, that changes every day.
Don't think too hard. Favorite Kylie song?
Oh, Confide in Me. That doesn't change.
Favorite Kylie album?
Impossible Princess.
Favorite Kylie music video?
Ooh, a toss between Confide in Me or Did It Again.
Favorite Kylie tour?
Intimate and Live.
And
I don't have to think hard about
I love
these
that you
at all.
know these. Like some people, when I do the Madonna ones, people are like, but you know.
I could answer these in a coma.
Favorite Kylie look, and this can be from a video, a tour, a photo shoot.
Oh God, I've got so many. I don't know.
What's the first one that comes to mind?
Probably her indie Kylie look from the Did It Again music video. That's what came to mind.
Okay.
So, but I did have that outfit made for me for when I had my 21st birthday party. So this was in the 90s. So the theme of my party was wannabe, because this is Spice Girls era. So you had to come dressed as what you always wanted to be when you were a kid. Like I chose that.
That's so cute.
That deliberately. And so this was Impossible Princess era. So I went as Indie Kylie. So that's probably why.
I love that. Oh, that's awesome. Well, Eliza, tell everyone where they can find you on social, and by you meaning this is disco.
This is disco at This is Disco on still calling it Twitter and Instagram and technically Threads, but I always forget that app exists. So probably don't bother with that there. And we're at This is Disco podcast on TikTok, but again, I also forget to do stuff there. So
I forget those too.
Mostly Twitter and Instagram is where we are having meltdowns about Kylie and Madonna and things like that. And I'm at Ms. Eliza Day on both of those.
Yes, that's what I tagged you, even though I was like, I don't know if she wants her personal social out there, but I was like, I'll do it anyway.
No, that's my public social whatever. So yes,
you
tag away.
You have a burner account for your private stuff.
100%. Just pictures of my dog mostly. So.
Right. Dog and maybe some dinners that you make, or
Pretty much. I post on there less frequently than we do This is Disco episodes. So.
And remember, everybody, you can find MLVC on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads at MLVC Podcast. If you'd like to donate to the show, we're on Venmo at MLVC Podcast, or you could also smash that super thanks button on YouTube. Give us a donation that way. If you've not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, tick that subscribe button so you never miss a video. We're going live with listeners for the remainder of the celebration tour. Tick tock, counting down till the end. So stay tuned for more episodes coming up. Eliza, thank you so much for taking the time. This was so much fun. I'm so glad we got to finally make this happen. I was like, we have to do this.
Yes. Oh, I'm so thrilled to be here. Thank you for inviting me. Well, us, even though Adam couldn't be here. He's here in spirit.
Yes.
So,
for sure.
Yes, thank you. Thank you both.
Yes. And stay on the line. We'll be right with you. But until next time, everybody, see you later.